Okay, let's talk business, guys. I'm gonna be spilling all the tea today and really just sit back, grab some popcorn, enjoy the show, because I have a lot that I'm just gonna be talking about. Relationships, funny dating stories, just loving yourself, and a little girl talk, chit chat, although it's welcome to all people to watch if you want to watch. But I'm just gonna be explaining a little bit deeper, getting to know me a little bit more, sharing the juiciness of it all. So let's get into the video. So I am currently heading off to Starbucks, and this is like kind of like my, I wouldn't say like morning daily routine because I'm not always going there, but I do go there a lot. So I'm gonna bring you along with me and then we're gonna chat. Okay, so see you at Starbucks. Okay, almost ran into the building, guys. Pineapple lemonade refresher. Can I get the venti? Guys, I literally almost forgot my favorite drink. Yeah, you too. So the machine wasn't working and I just got free Starbucks. So shit, I should have gotten my cake pop. I was debating. I was like, do I want a cake pop? I do, but like, I don't need a cake pop, but I need a cake pop. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. So basically, I got my drink and I'm super happy about it. The pineapple lemonade refresher. So I wanted to have a talk with you guys about love, relationships, my love status. I am single. Everybody keeps asking me, are you single? Blah, blah, blah. I am staying single because I have high standards. I will not settle for anything less than, you know, being treated correctly. I was in a relationship and a lot of people ask me like what happened with that. Like, no shame to the guy, but we were like kind of in a toxic relationship. At least I felt that way because I'm very free-spirited. I'm an Aquarius. I enjoy just being me, dressing up, going out if I want to with my girlfriends. But I don't really hardly ever even go out. But like, if I do, if I move for a show, like, and I'm hanging out with my friends. Basically, this guy that I dated, he had like past insecurity issues, that he had like trust issues with girls because he's been cheated on in the past, which is like completely understandable. Like, I totally get that. But I also hated that they were brought on to me as if I was gonna cheat on him. I ended up being in a show with like, you know, girls and guys, and he just like had no trust in me at all. It felt like I was constantly being asked like, what are you doing? And it wasn't like from a genuine place. It was more of like, what are you doing? Are you cheating on me? Like, he wanted to know things. He was texting my girlfriends and asking them like, is Sofia being loyal to me? And it bugged me. So I ended the relationship because I couldn't be like that. I couldn't have a guy tell me what to do, tell me what to wear. That guy's looking at you. If a guy were to compliment me, like, he'd be like, back off. And it's like, dude, like, I can get compliments from dudes as well. I can, like, you know, it's like, it was ridiculous. I ended things. I broke up with him. And he was, like, really upset. And now we aren't even on speaking terms. We don't even follow each other. Whatever. So then shortly after that, I took, like, a month to just focus on me. And then my friends were like, you should get back into the dating world. And I was like, okay, like, let's try this. And mind you, like, I never even dated growing up. Like, that was like one of my first, like, I had like a boyfriend in high school, but it was like very short. Don't even really count it at all because it was like two people holding hands in the hallways. It's like, okay, what? Long story short, I met this guy that I kind of like, we like hit it off like first day we hung out. I was like, oh my god, I really like this guy. He was really funny. We danced together in his living room. We're like two little kids, and that's like my favorite relationship, is when we can both just be goofballs, because like I'm a funny person and I like to have fun. So we were both just dancing to like literally like ABBA hits, like Madonna. Like, it was the funniest thing in the world. And we were like drinking wine. It was like super cute. I don't really know what happened, but I think that we rushed into things. Like, I was really catching feelings, and I thought he was too, because he was like promising all these things like, oh, I want you to be my Valentine, I have a wedding coming up. And I would love for you to be my +1. And we were dating for like a week and a half. I said on day 1, I am looking for a relationship and not a hookup. And I felt like we ended up rushing into like, you know, kissing and making out and stuff like that. And it just kind of like made things kind of escalate really quickly. And I feel like that's where we cut things off, because instead of like going on more dates, getting to just like really know each other, we just kind of took advantage that we were both like attractive human beings, and like we just had fun. But that's just like, at the end of the day, I got hurt. And I don't know, he probably didn't even get hurt because it was probably all a game. I felt like just shit, so I promised myself that that would never ever happen again. And I've promised that to myself a lot of times, but I always end up getting hurt in the end of it. So I also wanted to talk about just like never settle. Never freaking settle. My best dating advice is to go out to like a restaurant, like as the first date, or like meet out somewhere in public with people, like especially if you've never even met this person ever. Like you don't want to like just go to their like house as the first date, unless like you FaceTimed and you like, but even like that, going to the house leads into more things. And I can tell you that from a personal experience, that when you go to somebody's house, it's like more intimate, especially if they have like their own place, their own apartment. It's like things happen and escalate too quickly. And it's like, if you're just trying to get to know the person, go out to a restaurant, talk at the dinner date. Also remember that just because you go on a date, you don't owe that guy anything. Like a lot of the times I've noticed that I'll go out on a date with a guy, and you know, he'll like pay for my food, but I always offer to pay, but the guy's like, no, like it's on me. You know, I'm like, okay, thank you. And it's like, then after he pays for my food, he kind of feels like I owe him something, like sleeping with him, aka, and I am like, no. The best tip of advice is to drive 2 separate cars on the first date, and you take your own vehicle there and you drive to the restaurant, or he comes and picks you up, but you say, I must be home by this time. Personally, I like driving my own car to the first date, because if I don't like the person, I can literally drive away and be like, peace. Also, if the guy picks you up, that's like a sign of respect, because don't ever freaking drive to a guy. Also made the mistake of, I felt like I was a puppet, where he was just like, come over to my place, come over to my place. It's like, how about like you come over to my place and pick me up and we go somewhere besides your house? Yeah. I'm like we're all sexual human beings. Typically we're sexual beings. We can let the best of us get in the way sometimes. Like, remember that you are more than just your looks. You are powerful, you are strong, you have a brain in your head, you have a career, you are doing things, you are like, you know, you're thriving. Like, remember that. I'm saying that to you girls out there, because I think sometimes, a lot of the times, guys make us feel like we're just objects, and that we are just a sexy face and a sexy body. You're more than just that, and remember that, because I have to remind myself that. Sometimes guys make me feel like looks is the only thing that I have, and I'm like, no, I am smart, I am funny, I am outgoing, I am friendly, I am talented, I am the best girl you'll ever meet. That's the attitude you have to have. My nonna told me the other day, my nonna, which is, you know, the Italian way of saying grandma, and she was like, good luck to you, because she knows the guy that hurt me. Me and my nonna have some pretty good tea talks together. It was funny because she was like, if he don't like you, he's gay. And it's his and I was like, nonna, and she was like, and tell him good luck on trying to find someone better, because there's nobody better. And when she said that to me, I feel like all of us girls can quote that. Remember that. There is nobody better. So good luck trying to find somebody else, because there is nobody better. Put that on your shoulders. Put that confidence on your shoulders. Like, tell him who's boss. Don't ever let a man dim your light. Don't ever. Like, do you. Wear that sexy dress. Go out and hang out with your friend. Be a baddie. Be confident. Post that sexy selfie. Who cares? Like, if a guy has a problem with that, that's on him. He has insecurity issues, and you don't need a man like that. And I can tell you that from experience. So now I'm gonna share some funny dating stories with you guys, because I've had a lot of bad dates in my life. And a lot of okay ones, but clearly most of them were bad since I'm still single. LOL. I lived in New York City for like a year and a half for college. And and so there was like, I never went on a dating app, and all my girlfriends told me, go on a dating app. You can't meet anyone in New York City if you're not on a dating app. And I just like refused. I always thought dating apps were so scary. So I would meet people organically and they would ask me out and I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, let's go out, I guess. Right? So there was a guy that I met at a rooftop party. We met and we didn't even talk at all. Like at all. Like we were just at that rooftop party, like nothing going on. So this guy and I, like, we didn't even talk like the entire night. And then like at the very end of like like when things were like closing out, he was like, hey, like what's your name? And I was like, Sofia. And then he was like, oh, like I'd like to take you out sometime. And we exchanged social medias, and I like wasn't even into him, but I could tell he was really into me. And you know, I was like, you know what, let me give this guy a shot. Right? Well, I go out with him to like a restaurant, and the first thing he asks me is, how many people have you slept with? And I was like, excuse me? And I was like, none. Like I was a virgin, guys. I was a virgin. For a really long time. Like I didn't have sex until like after high school. I never had sex in high school. So when I got to college and stuff like that, I was still a virgin, and this guy's like asking me like how many bodies, and I was just like, I don't have any bodies. And he was like, you're joking. And he spits out his drink, like makes it such a big deal, and I was just like, anyways. I was like, whatever, okay, this is the worst date of my life, like, I want to leave. Then he was like, oh, I'm sorry if that offended you. He was like, I just looked at you and I thought, like, wow, you're so beautiful. I thought you would, like, have, you know, had sex at this point. I'm like, okay, well, being beautiful doesn't mean that you have a lot of bodies or partners or relationships. Like, I have self-worth here, so that is what I have. Oh, I respect that. I was like, great, okay, great. I'm like, okay, totally not into you at all. I already wasn't even into you, but now you're just like completely off the charts. And so now I'm like, I want to go home. And I like only was just like, I just want to go back to my place, like go back to my dorm. And he was like, okay, like, let me at least walk you back. And I was like, okay. So he's walking me back, even though because it was, like, late. It was dark. I didn't want to walk alone. And so he's walking me back, and he's like, I'm sorry. Like, and I was like, it's fine. And he's like, and I was like, and I was just petty. I was like, you're not even my type anyways. Like, I like Italians. And he was like, oh, you only like Italians? I was like, European boys, yes. That's my type, Europeans. Yep. And he was like, so because I'm not European, you won't date me? I was like, yeah, you're just really not my type. But I was like, also just, I don't vibe, you know? Just, you don't vibe. And then there was this other date where this guy had like little kid energy. Also another guy that I was like, I'm just gonna give him a chance. Like he's trying to just, you know, take me out on a date. He had like a little kid energy. When I tell you little kid, like it wasn't attractive. Like it wasn't cute. It wasn't funny. It was like, pay attention, because he had like really bad ADHD, and I felt bad because it's like, you can't control that. We're in New York City where you have to pay attention. There are cars coming, taxis, this and that, and this guy almost got hit by a car 1,000 times, and I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And he was just like, I'm sorry. And I was like, I felt like I was his mom on the date, like taking care of this guy. And I was like, this is a no. So that was another story. Like, if I have to be your mom, like, or feel that way, that's just a no for me. So the next bad day is this guy wants to take me out for breakfast. And this is when I was in a show in Ohio. Okay, so he picks me up, and his car, he was like, oh, sorry, you, like, I felt so bad because like his car was literally like breaking. Like I opened the door, the knob came off, and he was like, oh, I have to get that fixed. Like, his car was braking. It was making like a like, I was like, okay, I really should not get in this car right now. Because personally, it's a safety hazard. Like, things were falling off, antennas broken, like door handles not like where it was a really rough in shape car. And you know, we had to go on the highway to go to this place that he wanted to take me to. So I was freaking out the entire time because his car is literally shaking. That's not even the worst part, although that is pretty bad. But he put in his AirPods in his ears while he was driving. And he was like, I'm listening to you. I need to like listen to the GPS in my ears. And I was like, red flag, like what is going on right here? Like instead of like having like a conversation with me in the car, he just like put his AirPods in and was like listening to music in his ears. I was like, what is going on? And then we get to the restaurant. He never made reservations, and it was like this breakfast spot that you need to make reservations for because it was like a nice place. So he never made reservations, so we were sitting in the parking lot for an hour. And I was like, I like a man that can like, you know, make a reservation, call the place, be like mature and adult, you know? And we are adults. And so we were adults and stuff then. It was literally just 2 years ago. So we're sitting there in the car, and then we get inside, and all he talks about is like sad shit. I felt like so like sad after I left the date, and then I just like kind of like was like, okay, I just can't with this. Like, this also is just not gonna work. Another bad date. This was actually kind of recent. This guy. There was this guy, and he was like older, like 25, which was not old. Like, it's just like, okay, we're 4 years apart, 5 years apart. You know, I kind of feel like, okay, I feel like older is like kind of my type in a way, but it's also not, because I kind of like either my age or like a few years older, but I've learned that I don't really want like too much older, because then they're just like old. So basically this guy is like, I'm really just trying to make you my wife. And he had like a little bit of like a southern accent because he was like in the military. He was like in the military, and he kind of like travels all over. So he kind of had like an interesting accent. It wasn't southern, but it was like almost got like a little bit of southern twang in it, I guess you could say. He was like, I'm just trying to make you my wife. I'm trying to pop some kids inside of you. And I was like, okay, like, hold up, because that just, like, I literally, like, you can turn me on like a light switch, and you can also turn me off the same way. Like, I was so turned off. Like, I am not in the position of my life right now that I want to have any babies. Like, that's, like, the last thing in my head right now. Like, I want to have babies in, like, 6 to 7 years from now. Like, that's just not something, like, obviously, if it happens, it happens, you know? But this guy was like, I'm trying to pop my kids inside of you. You're so beautiful. I want you to be my baby mama. And I was like, no. Just like, no. Like, absolutely not. And he takes me out on this date, and he was like, took me out to a restaurant. He was super insecure. Like, he was like, I'm just so nervous. I've never been nervous around a girl before. But like, you're just so different. Like, you're so beautiful. Like, nothing like the girls I've ever like dated before. I was like, okay. And mind you, like, I dress up because I'm like, I am who I am, and I like to dress up. I'm a model, you know, like things like that. So this guy is like literally wearing his coat the entire time at the restaurant. He did not take off his coat, which I could tell was like an insecurity thing. Like, it was like he was like keeping himself like covered, like he didn't like. And I also got catfished because the photos that he used of himself were like old photos that were taken like 3 years ago, and he did not look like his photos. And I almost turned around. I talked to my friend Javian about this. It was like the funniest situation. My friend Javian was like, because we drove separate cars, and it was like great because I was able to like run out really quick. When he pulled up into the parking lot, he pulled his car right up again, like right up next to my car, and I looked right out my window, and I knew right away that I just was catfished, and I should have just drove off. Like, my friend Javian was like, you should have just drove off. And I was like, I felt bad. I couldn't do that. I was like, no, let's give this guy a shot, give him a chance. And so we walk into the restaurant together, and it was just like, he was so awkward. I was cracking all sorts of jokes, and he had the most dry, like, he was like, yeah, so, yeah, blah. Like, he was boring. He was so boring. I can't date a boring guy. We just didn't like vibe, you know? Like, there are certain people that I can just hit it off, and we can like have a good time and laugh our asses off. This guy was the most driest guy. I was starting all of the conversations, and I'm amazing at that, by the way. So like, if a guy is like struggling, I can tell, and I always have like a next question to ask, or like a sentence starter. Like, I always like know like how to keep the conversation going. I'm pretty good at that. Thank God I do have the personality that I have, because most girls, if there was like a shy girl that was out with him, it would have been the worst date ever, because like the girl would have been like, I don't know what to say. Like, it would have been the worst date, and it was already the worst date for me, so like I would not put that date on anybody else. But it was like, was not my type, and I was like, like, I just am so not attracted. And I've just like had always guys that just like want to like fuck, and I'm just like, I don't want that. I just posted on my Instagram story the other day, I want a romantic European love story that you see in the movies, and I will not settle for any less. Remind yourself that too. Kind of create this dream life for yourself, journal it, because I swear I believe in that stuff. Like, believe it and you will achieve it. I live for romance, okay? I live for romance. I love those, like, that olden love story that you'd see in the movies where like you believe that love still exists. Because when I tell you, like, social media has also made things hard. Like, dating is not the same. Like, the way my parents met each other was like so organic and natural, and they fell in love and they talked all night on a picnic bench at the university that they went to. They went on like a date, then they went on a double date with friends, and everything was just like taken slow, romantic, opening doors, flowers, love letters, things like that. I think a lot of us too will be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, this is so nice for getting me flowers. Flowers is the bare minimum, sweetheart. A dude writing you a nice card, that is the bare minimum. Texting you good morning, good night, little sweet messages throughout the day, that's the bare minimum. That is what you deserve. That is exactly what you deserve. Like, you don't deserve to be treated any less than that. You are a star. You are that girl, okay? So remember that. Also, if guys are listening to this, like, yeah, like, come on, get your shit together. I just want to just come on here and kind of like share. I just want to be relatable, and I want you guys to watch my videos and be like, oh my gosh, like, we're relatable, let's be friends. Remember, you're not alone too if you've had like really hard struggles with dating, because I'm still like trying to get into it. How I also see it in my family and my grandmother, just focus on you. Focus on you until the right person comes. I'm not going to stop making like my dreams come true when I meet a man, because that was something I was like so worried about. Like, with my job, I travel, you know, I'm a traveling performer, and I go here and there, and I take these contracts and I do these shows. I was like, wow, like, how am I gonna be able to date and make this work? Like, there's gonna be times of long distance and this and that. If a guy truly loves you, like, he'll let you do your career. Like, you can still have your dream career and be in love and make things work. So I'm wrapping up this video because I literally just got a message on my camera that I was recording for like way too long, but I feel like I got out everything I wanted to talk about and like say. And just love yourself, babies. I got you. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Like, comment, and subscribe. Press that bell to be notified for each week I post a new video, and comment down below on what videos you'd like to see next. I love y'all. Peace.